Welcome to Adventures with Captain Ray Kelly. This is primarily a drone show. We'll be sharing adventures from all over the world. We hope to have interesting guests every week, and we're glad that you tuned in tonight. We'll be flying different drones in different locations. We encourage viewer participation in the chat. If you have a question, don't be afraid to ask. Every week we'll have another interesting guest. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. We'll be sharing various adventures by our guests as well as myself. And thank you for joining us tonight. Hi, welcome everybody. Welcome to Adventures with Captain Ray Kelly Live. I tell you, I don't know where the weeks go. Thursday night is upon us already, and it's time for another Adventures with Captain Ray Kelly Live. But it's good to see everybody. Thank you all for tuning in. I've been busy. I've been flying a lot. As some of you know, I've been involved with a search for a missing swimmer off of Long Beach and Atlantic Beach. Well, he went missing off of Long Beach, and we've been searching the whole area there: Atlantic Beach, Point Lookout, the Joneses Inlet, the Rockaway Inlet, Reynolds Channel, and this past Sunday, I was in there with 4 other drone pilots. Rob Kamada, he's in the chat tonight. How you doing, Rob? He joined me, and Frank Frank from New York City. He ended up recently getting the Mavic 4 Pro, and he volunteered his time to come out and search with that. And he brought another drone pilot from New Jersey, Javier Torres. And then Jeff Norman showed up. So we really gave our best effort. It was very, very windy conditions that day. And if anybody's flown on the ocean with the wind, you know it really can whip. And then to make more things complicated, there were seagulls flying around. They were going after the drones. But unfortunately, we didn't find them. We couldn't give closure to the family, and we're going to go back maybe this weekend. Well, the plan is the weather's been bad. Not supposed to clear up really until Saturday, but I plan on going back Sunday. But anyway, I have to say hello to everybody in the chat. I say it every week. It means so much to me that you guys take the time out to watch me, an old fart with a drone, as Bob would say, and the tat just flying by. So really, I got to say thank you for watching. But anyway, let me say hello to Captain Joe, USA Drone Flyer. He's watching down in Louisiana. Good to see Captain Joe and Ron Johnson. Always good to see you, RJ Ariels and Josh Primac Media. He's watching in Pennsylvania. And then we got Steve Janess. He's watching up in Vermont. And we got Alex watching all the way in Greece. Alex Marks, good to see you. So thank you for tuning in tonight. I know it's real late or early in the morning there. But anyway. And I don't want to miss anybody. And if I miss anybody, I don't do it on purpose. So bear with me. Sometimes the chat just flies by. But I got an very interesting guest that's going to be on tonight. And if you saw the Facebook post and the YouTube post, it's Shaq White. He's a retired police officer from Texas. He was involved with their drone unit out there. And he's going to tell us all about that. But I know you're going to find him very, very interesting. So, and we got John Olson. he's in the chat tonight, and John, he's right here on Long Island, and John and I have been flying, and I hope to fly with him again maybe next week. And we got Jeremy, some drone guy, in the chat. How you doing, Jeremy? Good to see you. He's watching out in Nevada, right outside of Vegas. And Jeremy, as most of you know, he was involved with the South Florida drone meetup. And now he's involved with the Northeast U.S. drone meetup that they're going to have up in Rhode Island in September. And Jeremy's making the apparel like he did for us at the South Florida drone meetup. But he's got a website, and they have a website. It's NE. Let me see. Jeremy, if you want, you can put it in the chat. Better you do it than me. Um, but it's a great website. It's got great prices, and I gotta say, get your merchandise before they sell out. But anyway, it's gonna be a great meetup. I'm looking forward to going up there and flying with the guys from the Rhode Island Drone Meetup Group, and they already have a lot of drone pilots throughout the country that are going to be attending. Michael Wright, I invited him, told him about it, and he's coming all the way from Texas. So it'll be good to see Michael again. Um, so anyway, if you have any questions, get a hold of Josh Primack or Steve Janess or John Gregory, the Connecticut Pirate, or even that guy Mark Fisher. He knows a little bit about this meetup too. But anyway, speaking of which, Mark went live 3 times today on Facebook. So if you get a chance, watch those replays. But I got to say, Jody, Drone Shots is in the house. How you doing? And Warren Akirasho, good to see you. And I know it takes time to mention the guys' names, but I feel it's important. I really appreciate your support. Brian, Waypoint, New England. I guess you're going, right, Brian? You're going to the Northeast Drone Meetup? I hope so. I look forward to meeting you. But did I go by TJ? Yeah, TJ's in the house. How you doing, TJ? Good to see you. And Jim, he's in the house. How you doing, Jim? Good to see you. And let's see. I'll get back to the name very shortly because I think our special guest is out of Shrimp and Lobster in the back room. And by the way, I might have a surprise guest coming in a little later. So um, I would like everybody, please, to give a warm welcome to our special guest, and that's Jack White. He's coming to us all the way from Texas. Hey, how you
How
doing,
you
Jack?
doing, Ray? Good to meet you.
Welcome to Adventures with Captain Ray Kelly Live. And I always like to get police officers on, or retired police officers on that are involved with drones, and you were gracious enough to accept. So
Well, thanks
thank
for
you
having
for that. So you're active or you're recently retired?
me. I recently retired. August 27th, 2024 was the last day. I was down the streets. So.
Okay, yeah. You miss it? Do you miss it like I did?
Yeah, there's a lot of things I miss. There's a lot of things I don't miss, though, and you know what those are. So that's the same things we all don't miss. Uh,
Yeah.
but the work was, rewarding to a large degree. And, you know, uh, there are definitely things I miss. Like 2 weeks after I left, they had a big deal, and I was wishing I was back at work, So, but after I had quite a long time to get involved in things, so it was time for me to leave. Though I was time to send it down to the next generation. So,
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. But anyway, we got Alan, Drone Views Media in the house. He's watching all the way in Ireland. How you doing, Alan? Um, but Jack, maybe you could tell us how you became involved with drones initially, and how you got involved with the drone unit of your police department.
okay, well, so I joined. I was with two different departments. The first department I joined was in '95. That was Dallas PD. Spent about 3 years there, and then went to Mansfield in '99. Um, After about 5 years, I became a field training officer, and our department decided in 2016 they were going to get into unmanned aircraft systems.
Hmm.
And well, this we ran all of our stuff through the emergency management program. So the fire department also had a drone unit, and the chief decided that the officer that was promoting that program was a detective at the time, and decided that he needed to go back on the streets in uniform in a car that would make it the most effective way to implement it. And
Oh, what happened? What happened? I hit the wrong button. What happened? Oh, he hit the wrong button. All right. He'll be back in shortly, I'm sure. Um, those things happen. I know I've hit the wrong button a few times. But anyway, we got DeMarco, FSU grad in the house now. How you doing, DeMarco? Good to see you. And we even got a drone superstar. Anybody know who that is? Yep, it's Stevie Bronx. How you doing, Stevie? Good to see you. And we got John Kay in the house. Um, and if I miss anybody, I don't do it on purpose. I in the sky. How you doing? Good to see you.
oh, there it is.
There he is.
You
Okay.
got me.
I don't know what happened, but anyway, that's all right. I'm glad you're back, though. That's the most important thing. Can't hear you though. All right. There's probably a button. Just check to see if you muted yourself. Nope, no audio. Can't hear you. But anyway, these technical difficulties arise sometimes, but I'm sure we'll work it out.
I think we got it fixed now.
Yeah, there you go. You got
Yeah.
it.
So, so the chief wanted. It was Barry Moore. He was like the father of our program that came back from investigations that came back on the street, and he made it very clear that he didn't want to be trained by some young guy. That he wanted an experienced officer because he had to go through a 1 month program to come back on the streets because he hadn't been on the streets in all the time I've been there. He did my background investigation, as a matter of fact. So he got stuck with me, and for a month, he and I did our thing, and that was my exposure to the program. We only had one pilot, and we had one drone basically, and the the Tahoe was set up to just be its own, typically, just basically its own mobile command post. The drone was in a place in the back where it was readily deployable. It was an Inspire, and so he was able to go and do whatever he needed to do without any kind of support. Inverter, large TV in the back, all that stuff. It was the first time I think that at least that we were aware of that anybody had set a Tahoe up like that, so that we could be our own little mobile command post. So
Yeah.
I spent a month with him, and we did a bunch of calls and stuff, and so I got to see firsthand how that program was working. And I thought, wow, this is something I'm really interested in. I was always interested in aviation. So I thought, well, this is a really good way for me to use a little bit of that knowledge and desire to and still be a cop basically. So they decided to expand the program and they added another pilot. I was doing something else at the time and wasn't able to join in on it at that point. But as Barry was getting ready to retire because he got a really good opportunity to help develop the live streaming platform. Um, I put in to get to take over his spot. So basically, in December 2018, I took over running our program. So it was just me and another pilot. At that point, we had transitioned from the Inspire over to the M210, and we had two Mavic Pros, I think, at the time too. So, and that's where I got introduced into a lot of people that became big players in my network. Um, Garrett Burrell, who I don't know if anybody's familiar with him. He's an engineer with L3 Harris, and he was really big into it. Gave me a lot of insight, helped me really find myself on that. And so, from there, it just kind of blossomed. Barry left right after because I took over his position. He retired 2 weeks after I took over for him, and I just kind of continued that program. Um, we wound up expanding it right before I left to 6 pilots, and we had transitioned over to M30Ts and Avadas. And when I left, every pilot had an assigned Avada, and we had 2 M30Ts for deployment.
Okay.
So,
That's pretty good, really.
yeah,
You know, I mean, I could see your drone unit really came a long way, really,
yeah,
you know.
yes, it did.
So I got to say thank you for your service all
Appreciate it.
those years. And I know you really have to miss it, you know.
I do, and it's such a small community that it's amazing how many people you meet because of the small community, how integrated you get into everybody else's program. So during the time that I was in our program, we were getting calls from all over the state, and I was getting some calls from out of state too, to help them to just kind of consult on getting their program set up. And there's several departments, New Braunfels PD's programs based solely off of ours. I consulted with them and helped them get set up, and then several others here in the Metroplex area, because Mansfield, if anybody's not familiar with the city, is in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex, just south of Arlington. And Arlington PD was one of the departments that came to me as well. And now they have probably the premier program in the metro area. So they just
Okay.
got DFR waivers and all that stuff. So beyond visual line of sight, everything. So,
No, it sounds really good. I know
yeah,
Texas is very, very progressive, I guess you could say, with drones.
absolutely.
Um,
And the in the region, so some people, I don't know how most states are set up. In the state of Texas, we have 12 or 13 regions. The state's split up into these different regions. We're in the north central Texas region. And during the early days, we didn't have that many programs. And so the COG, the Council of Governments, set up a unmanned response team where we were responding all over the Metroplex. So it was comprised of about 4 departments, and we may have had 8 pilots, something like that, in the pro in that in the. So we were responding to calls all over the metro area, and anybody's familiar with Dallas Fort Worth Metroplex, that's huge. And we have probably 7 or 8 million people in this area. So
wow. Yeah. So you're on call a lot, I guess.
yeah,
Yeah.
all the time, 24/7. So
Right. Yeah.
uh,
Yep.
the regional group actually grew into 25 member agencies with probably about 60 pilots after it was all said and done. So
Yeah. Yeah. Well, anyway, I don't know if you know Mark Fisher. I don't think you do, but you know, he's the man, the myth, the legend. You know, I think I gave him that nickname a few years back,
yeah,
right after the first Rhode Island drone meetup. No, actually, it was after he came to the South Florida drone meetup, the first one that we had, and he was the hero. Mark was the hero. We had lost a drone, or a pilot lost. You know, when the DJI FPV drone came out, remember
yeah,
that one?
yeah. The first
Well, the
FPV.
guy lost it into the intercoastal, but
Yeah,
Mark Fisher, he stripped down to his underwear, went right in the intercoastal water,
nice.
and retrieved that drone. He found it, believe it or not,
Wow.
which was amazing. So he became the hero, and then I gave him the nickname, the man, the myth, the legend.
All right.
And he is a great drone pilot, and he loves sharing his knowledge. But anyway, if anybody has any questions for Jack, please put them in the chat. I don't think I missed any, but I might have missed some questions. So bear with me. But Jack, I also have to mention that I run along with the South Florida Drone Meetup Committee. We have an annual drone meetup that we have in Jensen Beach, Florida, every year now, and we're coming up to our 6th annual. So I'm going to give you a personal invitation to come.
All right.
The information is scrolling along the bottom. We're having it on April 10th to the 13th, 2026. And it's free to come. And we encourage people to bring children and their families. It's just a good time. Do you fly for fun a lot, or?
Yeah, I do. I have an area out here I fly. I bought a little ranch after I retired, so I have plenty of room to fly. But it, and I do that stuff. I, I'm doing training too, so I'm still in it. I'm still involved in it. I just don't get the call outs like I used to. So
Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, that's good. You're very involved,
Yeah, try to.
no
It's
doubt about it,
it's a
How
growing
long have you been a Part 107 pilot?
since 2018,
Yeah,
so
okay.
or 2019. Yeah. We
Yeah.
flew under a COA, and our department uh, we they weren't as it wasn't required, but as I looked into the COA a little bit, I thought, yeah, we probably need to go ahead and get those. So made everybody go back and get their license.
Yeah. I wish I had the picture of Mark recovering that drone because I got a shot of him coming up with that drone in his hand.
Did it go in the
And
water?
it was a moment, put it that way. It was a
Yeah.
moment at that first.
Did it go? Did it go in the water, or was it salvageable?
Yeah, no, it was in the water. He lost that drone, he
Yeah,
lost it, but Mark found it for him. So, but it was all a good time, that's for sure. And
yeah, for sure.
Mark made a name for himself that day. But uh, we got a lot of great drone pilots in the chat tonight. So, and I
Yeah,
again thank you all for tuning in.
yeah. The numbers
Uh,
just keep growing every day too. It seems like it never. It's. I meet new people all the time, and I go to conferences and stuff, and I'm always meeting folks that their programs are getting started up, and guys that are just now getting their 107 and all that. And I try to do a 107 prep course too, if people want to use it or want to come to it or whatever. But I try to stay as involved as I can, though.
I think I saw a question for you.
Right.
So, do you have a personal drone now? What's your personal drone that you fly?
So the personal one that I currently I've got a Mavic Enterprise thermal, and I also have an Avata and an Avata 2. And after flying the big drone, I've flown a lot of big drones, but for whatever reason, when I put those goggles on and got that Avata when I first got it, that hooked me right there. That's my favorite right now, and has been for several years. So the
Yep. Okay.
yeah,
Good.
I mean,
We got a question from TJ also. He
okay.
wants to know where you're from in Texas, and you are sort of added what drones you fly now. So, where
uh,
you from in Texas?
it's so I currently live in Grandview, which is south of Mansfield, but Mansfield is the city I worked for, and it's south of Arlington, Texas, right in the middle of the metroplex. Well, the Mansfield wasn't, but Arlington is. So the Dallas Fort Worth metroplex area.
Yeah. So anyway, Mark Fisher is giving you a personal invitation to join us all up at the Rhode Island Drone
Yeah, I'd love to come up there.
group. He has his own group, and
Yeah,
it's a great group. When I first joined it, Rigmud, it's called Rigmud, and I didn't think they'd allow people from other states to join their little group,
yeah.
but they welcomed me with open arms, and I got to say, it's a great drone group.
Well,
So
what I found out, and I do all this training, and matter of fact, the week after I retired, I was in um, Ocean County, New Jersey, doing a course up there. The week after I retired, so retirement started off with a trip. Right, that's always good. And the drone community's always been it's special. I mean, you don't ever hardly meet anybody who's everybody's got welcome open arms. They like to interact with other pilots and police. Obviously, police and fire being the public safety sector. It's such a small group, but it's a close knit group regardless of where you're from. So those
yeah,
guys treated us excellent up there. Monmouth County, Reading, Pennsylvania, all the agencies that showed up.
right, right.
That's great
Anyway,
people.
we're gonna offer condolences to Jason. His mom passed away. So sorry, Jason.
Oh, that's hard. Sorry to
God
hear.
bless. You know. Um, but yeah, I've only flown in Pennsylvania one time. Um, yeah, just one time in the eastern area of Pennsylvania, right on the other side of the bridge coming from Jersey.
Yeah.
And I mean to get back there. But I am so looking forward to going up to Rhode Island, really. Like I said, I flew up there a few years ago at the first annual Rhode Island Drone Meetup, and I'm looking to going back. But anyway, um, let me see if I missed any other questions. And I want to take the time to show a viewer video right now, if you don't mind. Um, so just let me see if I can share it without blowing the whole stream. And this week's viewer video is coming to us all the way from New England, Connecticut, and it's John, Connecticut Pirate. So. And John, I've had the pleasure of flying with John in Connecticut. I took a ferry from Port Jefferson to Bridgeport, and John took me to a couple of his secret spots over there. But he's a great pilot. It's a great video, really. I'm into churches and steeples, so I give John a lot of credit for doing this video. And this is just a tease, so if you want to watch the rest of that video, just go to Connecticut Pirate and watch the rest of that, because John has a lot of other great videos on there too. So, and that's what this community is all about. At least I try to promote it on my show, and I'm a co-host on the Fly for Fun show. We try to promote everybody supporting each other. You know, if you have some videos, don't be afraid to share them. Yeah, you may take some criticism or some praise, but it's all about having a good time and sharing your knowledge, drone flying, having a great time flying drones. Do you agree with that, Jack?
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, and like I say, we promote it as much as we can. Another big focus that I have is I want to get more children involved in drone flying. And I got this little tagline: let's get kids hooked on drones, not drugs. And I was glad to see more children come to the South Florida drone meetup this past year. And do you fly with any kids, or have you got any kids hooked on drones, Jack?
I haven't, but I don't know how they do it up there. I know that Texas being pretty progressive on technology. I know that some of the schools are offering robotics courses in the high school level. So somebody I know has got a child in a nearby school district up here. She just got her 107. She's not even out of high school yet. So it's a big promotion for them to. It's starting to leach its way into the school, the independent school district level here, to promote that stuff because they see the need for it. Schools around here for gifted and talented are trying to focus it on technical things that they may be good at, and robotics and UAS
Right.
is one of the big ones right now.
Yeah, no, it's great. Those programs are great. But yeah, eyes in the sky. I hope to get over to Tampa. Yeah, and fly. Thank you for the offer. I would love to fly with you. But John, I tell you, Connecticut Pirate, he does some great videos. But you get a lot of snow in Michigan too. And your videos are great too, John. So, um, but I know I probably missed a lot of comments and questions, so I apologize. But um, and it's hard to read them sometimes. So, like I say, if you see something, Jack, please say, "Oh, look at so and so's comment."
Yeah, I'm not seeing any comments in here for some reason.
Yeah, and like I say, I have some very very interesting news to share tonight, because I'm I've been involved with this search. I'm gonna hit the flyer. And I know you've done it probably many times. But this is the gentleman we're looking for. and a few suggestions. Well, go get a thermal drone. I didn't have a thermal drone. I got a Mavic 3 and a Mavic 3 Pro. So I went out and got a thermal drone. And hopefully this will help. And, and I got, sorry, very emotional. But this is all thanks to John Gregory. So I'm going to bring him in right now. Please give him a warm welcome. Hey, John. I can't hear you. Can you guys hear him?
There we go. Hey, Ray, how you doing?
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, I muted myself for a little bit there.
Okay. But anyway, I got to say thank you for, lending me that drone.
Right,
And
it's the least I could do. I just wish I could get there to do it with you. It's been it's for some reason it just my life's ramped up in pulling me in every direction. So it's the least I could do.
yeah. Well, you know what? You flew with me and you had that drone,
Yep.
and I was very impressed with it. And I know that you love that drone.
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely. It's great. It
You
really
moved up
is.
and you went to that drone, and since then you moved up to another drone. Tell us about the new
Yep.
drone.
Yeah, well, you know what? I went to the 4T, and this thing is a beast. The 3T was is awesome. It's a great drone. It's a great platform, but I don't know. I like to stretch out a little bit. If I can do it, I'll jump on the next thing. And this thing's been it's unbelievable. I mean, it's the controller itself is like having a computer in your hand. It's just like a laptop. It's huge. Matter of fact, I just happen to have it here on the desk, and I mean, it's a monster. It's a monster of a controller. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's been it's this one's got it's about the same operating system and everything else, so it's not bad to learn, but it does take a lot, and there's a lot to it. The AI stuff is really pretty cool the way they built it into it. So
Yeah. Well, again, I really enjoy flying with you. I do. And look at the way he dresses up to come on this show. You know,
and this is not me. I don't listen in my normal life. This is not me. You don't see this. I'm just me, just hanging out. I just happen to play it up a little bit for all the guys. Just throw a little spice to it. Just make it easier. You
yeah.
know.
I'm so glad I met you, and John and I met just by chance.
Yeah.
Just to give somebody in the chat probably don't know the story, but I had went to do a pre-flight inspection of the area. I was going to fly this Grumman Memorial Park in Calverton. And when my wife and I pulled into the parking lot, John,
Oh, you froze, Ray.
I don't know what's going on. Okay. How's
Right.
that? Better?
Yep. There you go.
But anyway, you were flying your Mini 3 Pro,
Yep.
and that's how we met. I told you
Yeah.
about this little drone community we have, and you joined us, and you're a big part of it now.
Yeah, no, absolutely, Jack. It was funny because I'm at this one place where they've got this F-16 or F-14 up on a pedestal,
Mhm.
and I'm like, oh, this is beautiful. I've wanted to drone this all my life, so I finally get over there, and just by chance, it's there's nobody there. I'm like, oh, perfect. This is going to be great. And all of a sudden, this car pulls in, and there's a law enforcement plate on the front of the car. So I'm nervous as all hell. I'm like, oh no, what am I doing? Did I not get authorization? What's going on with this? I'm like, and here comes Ray walking out of the car. I'm like, oh, this is it. It's all over. I'm going away. And yeah, no, he struck up a conversation with me, asked me a couple of questions. I'm just like, and honestly, it's just by chance. And I was only there for probably 20 minutes out of a 3-year span. And yeah, it's just the man upstairs was definitely putting us together that day. There's no doubt about it.
Yes, it's true. And John's been coming to the South Florida Drone Meetup now. And it's just fun. And he'll
Yeah.
take the ferry over to Port Jefferson and fly with me here on Long Island. and I've done the same thing. I went on the ferry and flew with him over there.
Oh
So
yeah,
hopefully
great.
this summer we'll fly again
Yeah.
together,
Oh, we
John.
will. It'll be soon. Don't worry. I'm sure. I have to come over and see the lavender fields with Holly. Holly wants to come over, and we'll do that again.
Yeah, and then you got to stop by and visit my koi too.
Yes.
So, but anyway, um, so do you have any plans on flying anywheres coming up, John, over there in Connecticut?
Yeah. As a matter of fact, I've got some. I've got a couple of lighthouses I want to do up in the Stonington area. I'm gonna hit that. I've got some. I've actually been mapping out a bunch of churches. Obviously, right, we always talk about that. The old school, the the Roman Catholic, the whole block and just stone churches. It just I don't know why it just calls to me just to see those spires just
Yeah,
shooting up all over the place. So I want to do a bunch of that stuff.
yeah. No, that's
And
good. That's good.
then of course the tugboats that are finally coming out.
Yeah. Anyway, John Olson has a question for you.
Oh, hey John.
John, what do you intend to do with that great drone?
Well, I'll tell you what, John. I was messing around. I found an osprey nest that's probably a mile and a half from my house. So I've been literally sending it up over my house and just zooming in because it's got a 112 times zoom on it. So
Right.
it's it's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Um, as Jeff Norman would say, it's not really a zoom, but you know what? It looks pretty
Yeah.
good to me.
Yeah. I love saying it's a Zoom, especially when I know Jeff's in the chat.
Yeah, no, he's such a good guy. He's
But
taught
it's
me a
funny you
lot
brought
too.
up Osprey Nest because last week when I was flying with John, that's exactly what we were doing, checking on two Osprey nests in Mount Sinai Harbor.
Oh, there you
So,
go.
yeah, but that's great. So,
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I didn't want
uh,
to take up a whole bunch of time, right? I mean, I know you got Jack on, so
yeah, no, I appreciate it. I appreciate you popping in. I appreciate you lending me the drone,
certainly.
and
Oh, one thing I
I'll
did
put it
want
to
to
good
do,
use.
what
Yes.
I wanted to give Jeremy a plug because I ordered some merch for myself from Jeremy, and I got to tell you, it's
Oh, you got it.
really, yeah. I
Very,
mean,
very nice. Look at that. It came out great.
and one of the big things with me is I like a 15-ounce coffee mug. I don't like those smaller ones. And I said to Jeremy, he says, as long as it's a 15 ounce, I said, yeah, okay, set me up. So, Jeremy, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. And he's been turning out merch for me. I mean, I'm sending him checks all the time. It's I'm getting Jerry, here's more money. Give me some more poker chips. Give me this. Give me that. I mean,
Right, right.
he's doing fantastic, and
Yes,
I
he
can't
is. No
everything
doubt
he's
about
doing.
it.
I appreciate it.
Yeah. Rob mentions that the controller is all weather related, snow, rain, heat, cold.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
controller can handle it all.
It is. It really is. The I got to tell you, if anybody was interested in it, I've got the back brace that comes the extra back brace it adds on, which is great. But the bottom, the way it hooks onto the bottom of the controller, it's tough. It really is. It doesn't really fit very well, and getting the SD cards in and out is a pain in the neck. So if anybody was interested in it or doing something with it, I would say just go with the normal tie-ins that you do the loops that screw in because this thing really wasn't the way to go. The DJI, they should change that up a little bit.
Okay. Yeah.
That's a
Yeah.
lot further than that's a lot further down the road than the Sentence controllers were, and the
Yeah,
Crystal has that. I remember when they came out with the first smart controller for the M300s, and I told them I was lucky enough to get in on the beta testing part of that, and I told myself this is great. I said, but it's a little small and it's not very ergonomic or ergonomic. And when the M30 came out, they called us back down there, and we were able. I got to fly it before it was actually released, and they had come out with that controller. I said, all right, you finally did it. You finally did exactly what we asked you to do, and the M30 platform with that controller was 97.5% of everything we had asked from DJI. So they actually listened to us. Pretty impressive.
wow.
Yeah. So
Okay.
I got lucky and was able to get in and test a lot of that stuff before it was actually released and give opinions on it. So, but yeah, those controllers are outstanding. Glad to see that
Yeah.
they put it with the M4.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I tell you, I'm trying to keep up with the comments. This chat is going by so quickly for me. So if I missed anything, I apologize. Um, and John, if you have any questions for Jack, you could ask him. You know,
Yeah, Angel. Hi, Angel. How you doing?
hey, Angel.
Yeah. So, Jack, do you now you were saying that your first job out of retirement or into retirement, I should say, was up in Jersey. So, you going all over the United States, or what's your?
So when for about a year and a half before I retired, do y'all are y'all familiar with a company called Miter? Are y'all familiar with that?
No, I'm not.
No.
So it's probably the largest company you've never heard of, and everybody, no one I know of. There's very few people I know that know Miter. Miter is the one that was given the task of developing the air traffic control system back in the 50s.
Oh,
They're ba-
wow.
they're basically on the federal budget, and so some senators or some Congress, whatever, wanted MITRE to develop. Anytime the government wants to develop something but can't be directly involved in it, MITRE gets the phone call. So
Hmm.
develop a UAS training program, just a basic course. And a couple of people that I'm associated with were invited to help develop that course. And then I was kind of brought in at the tail end of it. And with the focus on, they basically funded the development of it. And then once it's developed and once we've given a use case on it and sort of put it out there, that they offload it onto a nonprofit. Normally, that would be a situation where they develop a radar system and then with different entities, and then okay, we're going to give this to Raytheon or we're going to give it to Boeing or somebody. In this case, this came down to us. So we took over that training program, and the first training class that I did out of retirement was in Pasco County, Florida
Oh,
Force, with John Cuck and some other folks down there. And then we did some classes all over. And then the last class that I did was September up in Ocean County with a bunch of agencies up there. And it was a fantastic trip. We had a great time with it. We also do the training for we have a Texas Robotics Summit down here in Burnett, Texas in March, and we do all the training for that. We're the training provider for that whole program, and that started back in 2018. It's grown into a monster. Um, with agencies come from all over the country, and even some agencies outside the country. So, yeah,
Wow, that's
that's
awesome.
that's a
yeah,
pretty great training program you got.
Yeah,
yeah.
No doubt about it.
congratulations.
So the program is very basic. It's not very complicated, but we do integrate the first level NIST into that. Just and it's all about. And you guys know, you can go get a 107 by taking a test, but you don't know how to fly a drone until you've actually flown one.
You got it.
And
Yep.
so for
Yep.
public safety, this was the thing the government wanted. They wanted something that was standardized, and so that's why the reason why this program was developed. The FAA can't be directly involved in it, although they were supportive of it. But and with the idea that we develop a program, and then with the first case, the first integration of it would be at the public safety level, police and fire, EMS, whomever in the public safety world flies drones would go to this course, get this certification. That way, if you showed up on scene, like in Texas, we have this. The state calls us out for stuff, and you get people from all over the state, and you don't know who you're dealing with. You don't know what their skill levels are. You don't know what missions they're capable of, things like that. So this was in order to get to step one of that, and with the idea of getting more steps in. So it was great to be involved in that development process and to see the inner workings of MITRE and how they do business. And it's one of those places. I got invited up there for a meeting in DC a year and a half ago or whatever it was, and to walk in that building, it's like walking in the Pentagon. I mean, there's just
Ah,
places I couldn't go
Really.
places building by myself. They do so much stuff up there, so much R&D up there.
that's awesome. That is awesome.
Yeah. No doubt
So
about it. You can never have too much training. I don't care
Yeah.
who you are.
Yep.
Training is a good thing.
yeah, I agree. And with Mansfield, we were just the COA itself required us to have 8 hours a month. And we took it a little step further, and especially when we integrated the Avadas into the system, is you better be flying at least indoor at least an hour a week at the very minimum. So you better find a building somewhere and put that drone in there and fly it and learn how to deal with the interior realm because it's different from exterior.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. God, it's gonna be crazy.
Yes.
So one thing interesting about the Avata, and I like to tell this story because it's something that I got to do that not many people get to do. So I'm got a lot of contacts with Dallas Fort Worth International Airport. Their EOD unit is their drone pilots for the most part. They're the baseline of their program. They have patrol officers that are involved in it as well. The Avata came out, and I called my buddy up there and I said, "Hey, listen, I think I got a drone that can fly a commercial airliner. I'm just saying, I think we can make this happen." So he says, "All right, well, come on up and we'll see what we can do." And so we went out to one of the maintenance hangars, and I won't mention the airline because they'll get all upset. But we went to the maintenance guys and said, "Hey, can we see if we can fly this drone in one of these airplanes?" And they said, "Yeah, just take that 777 over there. Y'all can use it for training."
Okay.
Their EOD stuff all the time. And man, I was absolutely amazed. We were able to fly that drone inside that aircraft on ground power. So all the electronics, all the avionics are up, the air packs were going, everything from outside of the maintenance hangar without any issues whatsoever. And that was
Wow.
DGI like to lost their minds when we sent them those
I
videos.
don't doubt it.
Oh, crap. So, there was a lot of talk about enterprise Avatas at that point, but it never materialized, unfortunately. But yeah, that was and so I got to do a lot of stuff up there with the airport, flying through TSA checkpoints with all the equipment turned on, through the magnetometer, around the X-ray. That Avatas they just go, they just do what.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I
You
love
know,
it.
Goes. It's
Jack,
just
Jack,
wow.
not to change the subject, but I know guys would love to hear the success story that you told me in the back room. If
Okay. So the right before I left, they were, and I excuse my voice. This is North Central Texas in spring, so you can just imagine what's going on, allergies and stuff. Um, so we had a call. Well, the midnight shift had a call. The guy was mentally unstable, had basically started going crazy in his house, and he had a shotgun. He never threatened anybody with a shotgun, but the rest of the family decided they didn't want any part of this. And this is the 35-year-old son living at home, no job, that kind of deal.
right,
So the next day, obviously, the family wants to go back in their house, but they're afraid to go in there because they don't know what he's going to do. We found some evidence that he shot the shotgun a couple of times. There was a big hole in the front door and things like that. And it's kind of like, well, our policy is if he's not threatening anybody else and he's only a threat to himself, we're not really going to force the issue. We don't want to force a deadly force issue. So the family wanted their house back. They called back the next morning. I'm on shift. I go out there and this is getting tossed around. And I looked at the sergeant. I said, "Well, I can put this Abate in there. And we can find out where he's at. If he downs the drone, I mean, it's $400 to replace it, but at least we'll know what his intent is then." So we got the door unlocked, and I flew the drone in there. Was able to clear the house. Found him, unfortunately, in the back room. He was deceased, but it kept us from having to put officers in harm's way or potential harm's way, and just make it a safer overall situation. We got their situation cleared up, and we were able to get that situation resolved without placing any officers in harm's way, and that's the whole goal.
Yeah.
That's exactly what you want. I used it several other times on some search warrants and things like that, but we were able to clear a house in 45 to 90 seconds instead of sending SWAT people in there.
yes,
I've bought his gassed and kicked and whatever, but that's the idea that we could use that platform. It was never designed for, and we were able to use that so many times, and they're still using it today. Of the 6 pilots in Mansfield, every one of them has issued their own Avata just for that purpose.
that's great. That's
Wow.
great.
Every
Really,
door,
it is.
our guys, my sergeants, like anytime you get an open door on an alarm, busted window on a convenience store in the middle of the night, whatever, you need to call us out there and have us fly that before we put people in that building. So,
Yep,
Wow.
good. That's great. But anyway, we had another drone superstar in the chat. JC Flying's in the chat, watching down in North Carolina. How you doing, JC? Yeah. But no, these are interesting stories, Jack. Really. Um, they didn't have a drone unit when I was on the job.
yeah,
I wish they did, but
drones were for the military back then. So,
right, exactly.
they had
You
them. But
know,
I've got lots of stories. I mean, we had 5 kids break into a water park, and we rounded the whole thing up in 9 minutes. Which would have taken us hours. Luckily, well, believe it or not, the very first mission I had was with a HIDTA task force here in the Metroplex, DEA, FBI, Secret Service, you name it, on an Aryan Brotherhood house in a really nice part of town. It's that house though, the one that everybody wants to get rid of. And those are the kind of missions that there were other guys in the region that were jealous because I was getting these good missions right off the bat, but that was cutting my things. First night mission, and I've got literally the alphabet soup out there, federal alphabet soup out there watching me, expecting a result, and I'm thinking, just don't let me screw up. Just don't let me crash from the church that I'm sitting next to. So,
Yeah. No, it's great. It's great. And I got to say thank you to Rob. To Rob Kamada's in the chat. He's the lead drone
Hey,
uh,
Rob.
pilot for the Syosset Fire Department. He volunteers his time flying drones for that department. And Rob, thank you for your service. Um, but in the chat, yep, okay. Eldon, yep, thank you for tuning in tonight. Really, yep. I look forward to flying with you again. And we got Lee, the Yellow Rose Drones, in the house. How you doing, Lee? Good to see you. Trying to keep up with the chat. So, anybody has any further questions for them? Put them in the chat, either Jack or John. Um, but it's hard for me to keep up. I'm not good at it. Some guys are great at keeping up with the chat. I'm not that good at it. I need help. So, but listen, now might be the time to do the contest for the monthly giveaway. And it's not much. It's a $10 Amazon gift card. And I want everybody to know it's sponsored by John Gregory, the Connecticut Pirate. You know, uh, so put your lucky numbers in the chat. And John, you're eligible too. But Jack, you're eligible. You don't know what the lucky number is between 1 and 25, and I'll keep an eye out for it. So we'll see whose name will go in the hat for the monthly giveaway. So, and I just have fun doing this. I really do. Most of the time, I miss the number, and somebody's got to correct me. Oh man! And then all of a sudden it jumps. I don't see it. I don't see it.
Wow, really?
No, not yet. Not yet. Not yet. And that's what happens if I start clicking it and it jumps. I miss it. Wow, somebody's very close though. They just missed it by one number. Oh man, look at that. All right, somebody got it. All right, I see it. I don't know if somebody got it before Brian. Waypoint. It's number 7. So anyway, Brian, your name is going to go in the hat for the monthly giveaway. So congratulations. But I'll tell you, I think I covered everything on my little notes here. I look forward to flying with you, John, in the near future. Hopefully we can get together.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And Jack, I would love to fly with you too. I don't know when I'll be going to Texas again, but
hey, come on down. We've got all kinds of stuff down here. So.
Believe it or not, I got a story about Texas, and I think it's over here. But I went to Spin Up. There used to be a drone meetup called Spin Up in outside of Austin, Cedar Park. You know where Cedar Park, Texas is?
Yep.
And we went back in, when the heck was that now? I'm losing track of the time. About 4 years ago, we went. And I was lucky enough. No, it's back there. It's charging. I was lucky enough to win the top prize in that, a Mavic 3. So
that's awesome.
That's how I got my Mavic 3. Right. Yeah. Got to say thank you to Kelly Shores and company again. But that really made me so much more confident in flying when I got that drone.
Those are
I had
fantastic.
an Air 2S before that, and I was very happy with that. I still got it. The Air 2S is back there too. But um, but what I found out about these meetups at Spin Up is how great a community this is. The guys,
Yeah.
they welcome you with open arms. They make you feel comfortable. They share their knowledge. And that's what we do at the South Florida Drone Meetup. I think you'll agree to that, right, John?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. I was apprehensive the first time, when you invited me down. I'm like, I don't know, this and that. And then you know what? Just pull out all the stops and just do it. And it's been I'll never miss another one.
Yeah. Warren thinks the contest is rigged.
Listen, we don't even know who Warren is. We don't know if he's actual person. He could be a bot. Nobody's ever really seen him in person. So,
I know.
I mean,
But anyway, um, all right. So anyway, yes, it was. It was a great top prize, really. And I know they're going to have some giveaways just to let everybody know, just like we do at the South Florida Drone Meetup. They're going to have giveaways at the Northeast U.S. Drone Meetup, and I don't know what they are yet.
yeah, there's a secret, right? We're keeping it a secret for a while. We got a bunch of contributions and a bunch of people kicking in some stuff, and we've got some sponsors coming in. It's really coming all together. I mean, Josh is between Josh and Steve. They're the two of them are just they're crushing it with putting this thing together.
Well, you know what I found it so interesting because Josh had mentioned it, and I think you were all on board down at the South Florida Drone Meetup that you were
Yeah.
going to have one, and you got involved, and the planning came about so quickly. I was shocked that you guys put this whole meetup together, and you got such a great response to it.
Yeah, Jack, it was funny. The three of us are kind of just standing around and we're talking. We're like, yeah, we should get together and fly together. Well, if we did that, where would we go? I don't know. How about Rhode Island? Okay. Next thing we know, the list is there's people adding to it every day.
That's the
It's
way it
just,
works, though. Yeah.
it's awesome. It really is.
Yeah, no doubt about it. It's going to be great.
Yeah.
There's so many places. I flew a couple of places up in Rhode Island already, and Mark Fisher, he took me to some of his secret spots up there.
Oh boy, great. I'm
So
gonna have to see if we can get those out of you because I don't know. Mark's pretty tight-lipped when it comes to the bigger crowds.
I know we got Leonard JSK Enterprise. How you doing, Leonard? And Jack, just to let you know, he's a retired police officer.
All
So
right.
uh,
That's good.
highway patrol, former highway patrol. So, but anyway, I tell you guys, I got to say thank you for being on tonight, and it means a lot to me. You guys were great guests. And John, I got to say thank you again. This drone
Absolutely
is
right.
going to be put to good use, and I really appreciate it. So thank you, thank you,
Absolutely.
thank you.
You're welcome.
Um,
Please put it to good use and see what we can turn up. If you can be out there and turn something up and find anything, you know, it's all worth it.
yeah,
Absolutely.
exactly.
And Jack,
Well,
thank you for your service
Oh, thank you.
before and after retirement.
Right.
Because listen, there's you're a special guy. You're a special kind of guy, cut from a good cloth.
I already did the hard part, so now it's the easy time. So,
yeah. Well, Jack, if you want, now's the time for you to say your goodbyes or anything you'd like to promote.
I appreciate it. I appreciate you having me on. I appreciate John. I appreciate you sharing what you're doing out there. And uh, if anybody is in that has any contact with legislation, please get them off of this DJI ban thing. I'm so sick of hearing about that stuff. But for law enforcement, for public safety, we only want the best equipment out there, and there's just not a whole lot out there that's even comparable. But if you're looking for training, Public Safety Unmanned Systems Academy, that's who my training group is. And have drone will travel. I'll go to you. We charge. Obviously, I have to have expenses paid for and everything, but it's a good basic course for anybody looking for. It's really good for first time pilots, but I've had a lot of experienced pilots that never had any formalized training that really got a lot out of it. So, and like I said, we do incorporate Nest into that as well. So, um, you can get me. My email is jack.psusa.gov or .com. I'm still in the .gov world. So I got out of that, or it's jack.psusa@gmail.com. So I like to have at least groups of 5 or more to be able to do it. But we cater to public safety. That's my soft spot. That's my wheelhouse right there. And I'm waiting to hear back. Probably got some training I got coming up in Illinois, and maybe hopefully June. Try to keep me going here, but don't need the money, don't need the work, but it sure is nice to stay in the world. It's not a place you want very easily.
Well, thank you again. Really, you're a great guest tonight,
Appreciate
and
it.
I enjoy hearing the success stories.
Oh
And
well, 3 more
thank you
hours.
for being on. But John, now is the time for you to say your goodbyes and anything you'd like to promote.
Absolutely. Something I like to promote is obviously the meetup, and jump on, guys. We're going to be adding stuff between now and obviously a couple of days before, but it's really going to be good. We got some real good drone superstars that are showing up that honestly, I'm not going to put their names out there, but you'd be really impressed for something that 3 guys kind of threw together. It's building into something that's going to be really, really good. And we've got some really cool sponsors to announce as we're going forward with them. And by all means, Jack, if you can get in the area, if you can come in, by all means, we would love to have you.
Yeah. Send me the information. I'll be more than happy to. If I can get it on the calendar and get up there, I definitely will.
Okay, you got it. Ray, thank you again, and good luck this weekend.
Yeah, thank you. We'll see what happens. And on a brighter note, there's an air show going on at Jones Beach too.
Yes, I
The
wish I could go.
Thunderbirds are going to be flying. There's a TFR in the area,
Oh
but
yeah.
I know there's an area in Long Beach where there's no restrictions whatsoever. So
Got a
that's
secret
where
spot?
we will be searching.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you guys, and thank you everybody in the chat. Appreciate you watching. I'll be on again next week, same time, same place, with another great special guest. Just get out there, fly for fun, but most importantly, fly safely.
Absolutely.
We'll see you again next week,
Good night,
guys.
everyone.